Hey everybody, what's up? Joseph Rothschild here, aka Mono Bluetron, back with another episode of 10-minute testing. So, as you can probably tell, YGO Pro has updated, and we have been teleported to a beautiful alien landscape, really pretty. It looks like something out of No Man's Sky. The difference between that and this video is only going to take 10 minutes out of your life, and it won't cost you $60 to watch this disappointment. If you look up in the right-hand corner, you can see the Earth spinning around its one ring. The Earth, in case you were not aware, is in fact a ringed planet. And if you look really carefully at night, you can see the one enormous glowing green phosphorescent ring that prevents us from seeing the bottom half of China and Australia entirely. So with this beautiful graphical interface, we're going to jump right into deck edit, and I'm going to show you the excitement that I have brewed up today. So as you can probably tell out of the starting gate, I have in fact bought into the trains hype. It took a while. Originally I was not into it, but now I have finally come on board, if you get my hilarious joke. The version I've seen online a whole bunch is the Shadal's Trains version, and I made a whole video about it, and God, it was terrible. The deck was awful. I picked up one game against a guy who couldn't have bricked harder and was playing a bad deck. The deck, it was inconsistent, ran out of cards almost instantly, and had no powerful plays. However, it taught me a lot of lessons which have helped me to arrive on this list. So, when looking at the weaknesses of the trains build, I settled on three really glaring ones. The first was that it has no way to draw cards. Playing a deck with a bunch of dark guys in it was pretty good about using a lure, but still left a lot to be desired. The problem with the Shadow engine was we weren't playing enough to use a lure and consistently have a Shadow in our hand. BA gets to play a whole bunch more dark dudes. Second, it had no way to conveniently plus off of the discard for Revolving Switchyard. Certainly you don't have to plus, but it's very nice to, especially in a format when so many other top-tier decks are able to plus off of discarding. I think BA solves that problem pretty nicely. And third, it had a pretty inconsistent plan. You had to draw Night Express Knight and Darricane, or Night Express Knight and Revolving Switchyard, or some number of these cards. And routinely you just wouldn't. I hope to help the consistency issues by making a black backup plan that is really consistent. Burning Abyss, known for its consistency. Other little synergies include Ruffian Railcar had no really good way to be consistently sent to the graveyard. Milling it off of Dante or Beatrice really helps that plan. The deck had no suitable backup plan. Burning Abyss can certainly play fine on its own. The deck was already playing Skill Drain, and Burning Abyss actually plays alright under Skill Drain. All of these things have really coalesced into this deck right now. Let me just run through the cards real quick. We have 3 Night Express Knight, 3 Heavy Freight Train Darricane. This card gets special summoned when you normal summon Night Express Knight. It also, if it is a part of an Xyz monster and is detached, you get to destroy one card. Just a exciting extra Beatrice-like effect you get to do. Ruffian Railcar is Scarm, but for rank 10 trains. Barbar is self-explanatory. Seer is self-explanatory. We got Calcab, which returns a set card. Libic, which special summons a guy. We're playing 3 Alec. I wanted to cut down, but really I just needed as many Burning Abysses as possible. Farfa is the best card in the deck. We have Graph and Tour Guide from the Underworld. You'll notice I'm not playing the Speedroid stuff, and I'm not playing Fiendish Rhino Warrior from the pure version. That is because Speedroid Terratop is really good on turn 1, but afterwards requires use of your normal summon usually, and this deck really can't do that because we want to be normal summoning Night Express Knight. We're also playing 1 Math, because Math is okay in Burning Abyss, but really good in a scenario where you can dump Ruffian Railcar. We play Soul Charge because we have a bunch of fun rank 10s we can make after we Soul Charge. Foolish Burial is nuts in both decks. Revolving Switchyard is self-explanatory, and the rest is the rest. In the extra, we've got 3 Dantes, 2 Beatrices, a purple Dante, and a Virgil. And then we have Utopic Future, Nightmare Shark, and Grand Pulse as carryovers from the rank 3 spam that is Burning Abyss. Then for the rank 10 trains, we have 2 Superior Dora, 1 Gustav Max, and then the tools to get into 7 Sins, which hopefully should solve BA's problem of not being able to get over big, meaty men. So let's jump into the games and see what happens. So like always, we're jumping out of the starting gate against an actually good deck. We're playing against some kind of Perform Pal list. He does have a Drummerella, which doesn't really make sense to me, but everything else seems pretty normal. We've opened Night Express Knight and Darricane, which is good, but we haven't opened a way to make Beatrice. Here's the allure of this deck. If this was a dark monster, if this was just like a Burning Abyss guy, then we would have Superior Dora and Beatrice turn 1, which is kind of nuts. We do get to go first, which is still pretty good. We're going to make Dante, because that's probably better than nothing. He Effect Veilers as soon as I get Dante out, so that I don't even get to pay the cost of milling 3. Very clever from him. I get to make Superior Dora and end my turn. I feel like I'm down on cards, but this is a pretty formidable board. He plays Guitardle, and I now, all over the turn, have the ability to send off of Superior Dora and destroy one face-up card he controls. Destroy any card he controls. Man, this is really good. I don't do it to Guitardle, because I figure he can have a low scale and still kind of screw me out. He uses Monkey Board to get Pendulum Wizard, and I figure, okay, Pendulum Wizard's a 2. I don't know any of these other cards, but it's probably time to fire it off. I'll send it to destroy Guitardle, and then he's stuck with a 1 and a 2, and then X number of cards. Hopefully a small amount of them are actually pendulums. So he actually doesn't have a way to set scales after this. He's going to summon Trick Clown, and then he draws Trick Clown off the top after summoning Hat Tricker, and he makes Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. He's going to use Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon and Kong Man to target Dante and then go for Dante. That's just because this is unable to be targeted because I have used its effect on itself. He destroys Dante. I get to negate his effect with Alec and then add a card back to my hand, and he doesn't want to play the excitement that is Burning Abyss. I don't blame him. When his scales are a 1 and 2, there's basically no way for him back into this game. So that was a pretty convincing victory against an actually pretty good deck. Now we're going to have to play another actually good deck. We have here Monarchs. You know, Monarchs is Monarchs and is never really a good matchup for Burning Abyss, so I'm a little concerned. I don't know anything yet. Once again, we've opened Night Express Knight and Darricane, although I think we use Revolving Switchyard to get Ruffian Railcar instead of Darricane. Now, Revolving Switchyard has 2 effects. One, you can discard a card to add a rank 10 train to your hand, and the second is if you normal summon a rank 10 train, you get a rank 4 train, and then it becomes rank 10. So we can do Ruffian Railcar now, and then make Dora. Then we'll use Dora's effect to send Ruffian Railcar, so in the end phase we get another Night Express Knight. Then, in a world where we don't have Darricane in our hand, we can use Revolving Switchyard on our turn again to make another Dora, and it just basically goes like that forever, which is pretty sweet. So we have ended our turn with a Dora and a Switchyard. That's not the best board we can make, but it's alright. He, of course, spikes an original Monarch off the top and then gets to send it off Pantheism. He uses Stormforth. Really fun ruling on Stormforth. If you target your only card on the field and make it unable to be affected by card effects, he can't actually use Stormforth. It's very interesting. So he has a bunch of guys in hand, but not a bunch of tribute mechanisms. He's using Tenacity to get Domain, hopefully to lock me out. He uses Thestalos, sent off a Pilot Red Later, and decides he's going to send Night Express Knight to the graveyard. This is not a big problem for me because, like I said, I do have Revolving Switchyard activated. What is going to be a problem is getting over Domain because this guy's going to get 800 when I attack. So we're going to allure first. We draw into Twin Twister, which is pretty nuts, and we're going to send we're going to use Twin Twister and send Farfa. We're not going to banish because I want this guy dead. I don't want him banished. We can't push for lethal anyway because he has a Prime Monarch in graveyard. We're going to make a Dora and start firing off. He summons this guy back and I attack him. Worth noting that at this point, this card can destroy one card at any point, which is pretty nice. On my opponent's turn, he draws into a red layer, and then summons Original Monarch back, but then decides he doesn't want to go through it. I can destroy Original Monarch at any time with Dora. He can't really get over the Doras with the cards in his hand. The best he can do is make Kuraz. I can target my guy and make it not die to Kuraz. There's really not a whole lot of outs for him at this point. So 2 matches, 2 pretty good decks, and 2 victories. I'm feeling pretty good about the list. My opponent is playing Star Seraph Shadows. I guess this is like the make or break match because if Trains proves that it can succeed without Shadows by beating its old masters, then you'll know it's an actually good deck. We're going to start off with an allure. Like a sack, we draw into 2 BA guys, which allows us to make Beatrice, and we're just going to fire that off right now. We also get a Scarm activation, which is pretty nice. We're going to get Tour Guide. We also have a Soul Charge, which we could have used to make a second Dante, but not really worth Uses Twin Twister targeting Skill Drain, that's fine, I'm not super attached to Skill Drain. At his end step, I'm going to use Beatrice's effect to send Sinister Shadow Games back to his hand with Cowcab. Then I'll use Dante to return Scarm to my hand. I'm feeling pretty lit right now. We're going to use Tour Guide to get Seer, overlay into Dante, send Seer, get the other Dante, make another Beatrice, and then detach the Farfa to banish this face-down card and do 75 million points of damage. Also, the detach off of Beatrice can send Barbar, which means that we can do literally lethal. So it's nice to know that this deck, even though it's playing trains, still has the ability to do the, classic BA OTK. So we're back with the deck. I was actually super impressed. I mean, we played against a bunch of actually real decks and came out on top. I'm pretty pleased with myself. I thought the deck was going to be way weaker due to the exclusion of cards like Speedroid Terratop, but really it had a lot of the raw power of BA combined with the backup plans of these train men. In a world where, God forbid, let's say Seer goes to 1, Scarm goes to 1, and Dante goes to 1, this might be an exciting avenue to look up to fill the missing space in a defunct Burning Abyss deck. I really thought that it was cool that we got to see a match in which trains went off and made a bunch of Doras, as well as a match in which BA got to just do BA things. I will say, however, that I think the most exciting inclusion of the trains into the build was that we now have an answer to Pendulum mechanics. There's nothing you can send off of Beatrice that will return a scale to the hand or prevent a scale from being used or anything like that. It was nice to be able to play Dora so that we can pop a scale on our opponent's turn. It was pretty sweet and definitely a reason to be playing this deck. I don't know what else to say. I'll be sleeving this up and taking it to a locals near me and letting all of you know how it goes. I really had a lot of fun, and I think this deck has a lot of legs, and I'm excited to see if it makes a splash. And that's that. I hope you enjoyed watching Dora prove her superiority. I hope you enjoyed another mindless video of me spamming BA nonsense, and most of all, I hope you just enjoyed watching. If you did, give me a like, a comment, or a subscribe. It really helps me out. And if you want to see a certain deck or strategy played next week, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, I will play whatever I'm feeling like, and I will see you on Wednesday.